Roll out the red carpet and get out your acceptance speech because we have your Backstage Pass to Hollywood. Backstage Pass starts now.
In 5,
4.
3, 2,
Are you ready?
Hey explorers, welcome back to Backstage Pass, where we give you the scoop on all things entertainment. My name is Kayla McCrae.
And my name is Lucas Alvin, but you already knew that, I hope. Sort of like how I hope you can survive my stories this episode. Warning, they're very Lucas core.
From movies, music, and celeb drama to hip-hop, concerts, and fandoms, we're here to give you the scoop on all things entertainment. So with that, let's jump right into it. Sound the mall security alarm because I smell a new cult classic on the way. I'm talking about Forbidden Fruits, directed and co-written by Meredith Allaway. The film is an adaptation of the 2019 play called Of the Woman Came the Beginning of Sin, and Through Her We All Die, written by Lily Houghton, who also co-wrote the film's screenplay with Allaway. Guess what it's about? Witches, of course. I know, very predictable of me. These aren't your spooky whimsigoth type witches, though. The three witches in this movie are It Girl employees at Free Eden, a popular mall clothing store and an obvious play on the actual clothing store, Free People. Apple, the queen bee of the group, leads this witchy femme cult in the store's basement after hours. But when a new employee named Pumpkin enters the chat and challenges the cult's, quote, performative sisterhood, the women are forced to face their own poisons or succumb to a bloody fate, end quote. The film stars Lily Reinhardt of Riverdale fame as Apple, Lola Tung of The Summer I Turned Pretty as Pumpkin, Alexandra Shipp as Fig, Victoria Pedretti as Cherry, Gabrielle Union as Sharon, and Emma Chamberlain in her acting debut as Pickle. On top of that, one of the producers is Diablo Cody, famed screenwriter of the films Juno, Jennifer's Body, and Lisa Frankenstein. I don't know about you guys, but I am very excited about this movie. Forbidden Fruits hits theaters on March 27th.
If you're a Pixar fan, you probably saw that a trailer for Toy Story 5 released. In this new film, the toys face a new challenge, technology. When the lily pad gets introduced to playtime, the toys start to feel threatened by how tech devices can do practically everything. In addition to the trailer, the film has already received media coverage. In November of 2025, Tim Allen, the voice of Buzz Lightyear, appeared on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, where he praised the film's story, saying, quote, "The writer working on Toy Story 5 produced one of the best," end quote. Further went on to explain that this writer wouldn't make the movie unless it was right. You can watch Toy Story 5 when it hits theaters on June 19th.
Here's another film that caught on my radar, a revenge film. It's called Is God Is, written and directed by Alicia Harris. The tagline, make your daddy dead, real dead. The context behind the tagline, well, two sisters, played by Cara Young and Mallory Johnson, dubbed the rough one and the quiet one, are on a quest to avenge their mother, played by the Vivica A. Fox, for being burned alive by their father, played by Sterling K. Brown. Sounds intense, huh? Funnily enough, just like Forbidden Fruits, this is also an adaptation of an already existing play, Is God Is. The play was also written by Alicia Harris that opened off-Broadway in 2018. The supporting cast is also iconic, including Erica Alexander, esteemed pop singer Janelle Monáe, and Mykelti Williamson. As a person whose favorite film of all time is revenge film adjacent, has Americana Western road trip aesthetics, and features the strong bond between two women, yes, I'm talking about Thelma and Louise, This movie also excites me heavily. This is nothing new under the sun for me. God Is premieres in theaters on May 15th.
On the topic of exciting new movies, I'm excited for the new MLB documentary titled Homecoming, the Tokyo series. The film covers the 2025 season opener game between the LA Dodgers and Chicago Cubs at the Tokyo Dome, specifically highlighting the game's Japanese star players and baseball's cultural influence in Japan. Now you might be wondering, why is Lucas covering sports media on Backstage Pass? And the reason behind that is because I happened to be visiting Tokyo the same week as the game, so the documentary's subject really resonates with me. You could not go anywhere in the city without hearing about the game or seeing Shohei Ohtani, whose popularity was on another level. So much so that people even coined the phrase Ohtani Mania as he appeared in what felt like every advertisement. Here's a picture of me with Fortnite Ohtani. Oh, and I should note that I actually visited the ballpark before the game started. Granted, that was because I wanted to buy tickets for pro wrestling at Korakuen Hall, which is literally right next to the Tokyo Dome. But I'm glad I did, because the whole atmosphere of the event was something else. You could just feel the historical significance in the air. Anyway, Lucas ran aside. I hope you can check out the documentary when it is eventually available for streaming.
We haven't gotten to shout out the fact that it's still February, and with that, Black History Month. Luckily, our friend Leisha Espiritu Santo is here to walk us through the history of hip-hop. Let's take it away, Leisha.
Hip-hop is an incredibly influential music genre that's inspired people all across the globe. Hey guys, it's Leisha here, and today I want to tell you some things you may not know about hip-hop history. I'll focus on 3 important figures that shaped the genre into what it is today, because if I covered everything, we'd be here all day. Picture this: a kid from Barbados moves to New York City in the Bronx with his family. It's a big city with a bustling nightlife and extensive culture. Joseph had a love for music, and he was drawn to his dad's record collection. After learning more about electronics in high school, he decided to start DJing. He would study current DJs at parties, and one guy in particular caught his eye. DJ Kool Herc, he used the breakbeat technique. This term derives from the phrase breakdance, where people would dance when the song switched from lyrics to instrumental. Breakbeat was a similar concept for DJs. Herc would use 2 turntables instead of 1 to extend the instrumental break in popular songs. Joseph took note of this, and when it was finally time to take the stage as Grandmaster Flash, he used this technique and took it to the next level. He would essentially juggle between the 2 turntables, as well as using a crossfader system to extend the instrumental of a song as long as possible, repeating it over and over. While DJing at several parties in the Bronx, he caught the attention of some other young men who loved poetry. Soon enough, Joseph took part in the famous hip-hop group from the 80s called the Furious Five. Together, they would make hip-hop history. Joseph single-handedly paved the way for sampling in hip-hop. Just in case you're not familiar, sampling is the technique of digitally encoding music or sound and reusing it as part of a composition or recording. There are essentially 2 types, looping and chopping. Looping is taking a track and looping it over and over to rap over it. Chopping is taking the track and chopping it up to make things more interesting, and then rapping over that. Now, let's skip a few years and follow the story of O'Shea Jackson. O'Shea was the cool kid in high school. He rapped for a group called CIA that he formed with his friend Sir Jinx. He was only 16 at the time, but he definitely had what it took to be in the field, because soon after, he joined the newly formed group NWA. Being the group's main rapper and ghostwriter, he had a lot on his plate, but that didn't keep O'Shea from completing a diploma at the Phoenix Institute of Technology. You know, just in case this rap thing doesn't work out. But of course it did, because who doesn't know Ice Cube? O'Shea grew up in the neighborhood of South LA, where he experienced traumatic things as a kid, like the murder of his sister. It was an impoverished Black community where gang violence was more normal. As a guy who was proud of where he was from, he would express this pride through the songs he would write. Thus came the album Straight Outta Compton. This was the first rap album labeled as gangster rap, and although it was negatively received at the time, it paved the way for the most influential hip-hop artists, most notably the rappers of the 90s like Tupac and Biggie. This was such an important moment in history because before this, hip-hop was popular as a dance genre to be enjoyed at parties. Ice Cube was the first to make rap representative of poor Black communities, which made the genre more personal. Lastly, I want to talk about Soulja Boy. Did you know that Soulja Boy was the original Rick Roller? That's right, the internet meme where people would think that they were opening a link to a news report stating that some celebrity died, but it was really a YouTube link to Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. That's the one. DeAndre was raised in Mississippi, but later moved to Georgia where he became heavily interested in music. His dad gave him access to a recording studio, which is where he really grew his talent. DeAndre was dying to get his music out there, but with no label ready to sign him, it seemed nearly impossible. Luckily, he started to think outside of the box. It was 2005, and everything on the internet was exploding. This is when he first started to promote his music on websites, specifically LimeWire, in a creative way. When someone would download a file named Hot in Here by Nelly, the music that played when the file was opened was actually Crank That Soulja Boy. This trickery actually worked. With no connections to climb his way up the ladder through labels, he was able to record and produce videos with his music and post it onto YouTube. DeAndre was the first artist to make it possible to get famous online. This essentially paved the way for SoundCloud rappers, which introduced artists like Lil Uzi Vert and XXXTentacion. All three of these Black celebrities really put hip-hop on the map for the success that it has today. That's all for this segment on hip-hop history. Take a day to do some research on your own about Black history, and you might just have a new fun fact to tell your friends. I'm Leisha Espiritu Santo, and thank you so much for listening. Now it's back to Kayla and Lucas for the rest of the show.
Thanks, Leisha. I also highly suggest that you, yes you, take a day to do some research about Black history. And Black History Month continues with a very special music release. On February 17th, Willow Smith released a new album into her catalog titled Petal Rock Black. While many remember her fondly for her pop-punk era with Transparent Soul, this new jazz pop album isn't the first of its kind from her. In 2024, she released Empathogen, which was a blend of jazz, experimental pop, rock, and funk. While I haven't listened to the entirety of the album, I'm a pretty big fan of the second track, Vegetation. I'm a fan of Willow's work through all eras of her music journey since I was a kid, from Whip My Hair to Wait a Minute to Transparent Soul to the Coping Mechanism album. Willow's music rarely fails to scratch that itch in my brain, and I have no doubt this album will be any different. Petal Black Rock is available to stream on all streaming platforms.
Recently, Japanese rock star Gackt revived his rock project Yellow Fried Chickens and went on a mini world tour performing in Japan, China, Mexico, Sao Paulo, and Chile. Notably, on the last show performed a special song for the VIP experience rehearsal, that being Au revoir. For context, Gackt had his big break in the music industry as a vocalist for the band Malice Misère, and Au revoir was a hit single for them. A few years later, Gackt would go on to leave the band mid-tour to pursue a solo career. Fast forward 20 years later, and he finally performs the song in full again. According to Yellow Fried Chicken's drummer, Hirohito, Gackt wanted to play it for the other shows, but was very particular of how the drums had to sound. After the show, Gackt reportedly was surprised that the audience knew it word for word. Additionally, Japanese fans were shocked to hear about the performance. Now there are rumors buzzing around social media that we may be getting a Malice Misère reunion with Gackt. But again, these are just rumors. I'm never able to keep track of all the concerts going on. It's probably because of all the Japanese music I listen to. But never fear, because Genesis Clark is here with another edition of Front Row Only. Take it away.
Welcome back to Front Row Only, where we talk about recent tours, show reviews, and everyone's favorite website, Ticketmaster. My name is Genesis Clark. Now let's get right into the pit. This past week has had quite a few big things happening. Did you know that Tame Impala is one guy? Tame Impala is doing his second round of touring this year with a Deadbeat tour being announced for this upcoming summer. Selling out arenas and theaters, he will be touring North America and Canada alongside indie field openers Dominic Fike and Djo. According to ticket buyers, dynamic pricing has been turned off. This is to make sure that prices are more reasonable and affordable for all fans. This stops prices from going up due to demand. Impala and his team also limited the transferring of tickets and marking up prices. So, if you try to resell your ticket, it can only be at face value. This is to save everyone from scamming and price hiking. This is also done to help limit bots from purchasing. Face value tickets start at $79 before fees for Upper Bowl. With Ticketmaster queues starting at 30,000, I expected a lot more winners than last time when he was touring. But unfortunately, there were still many soldiers who lost this one, including me. I may have to sit this one out, but maybe the less I know, the better. This tour kicks off May 1st in Miami, Florida with DJ at the Casilla Arena. Switching stations to the more alternative and rock genre, Vans Warped Tour just announced 44 artists and bands for their lineup. For Phase 3, they revealed bands such as A Day to Remember, Coheed and Cambria, and of course, my summer favorite, Sublime. The undercard features up-and-comers such as Kenny Hoopla, Meet Me at the Altar, and Mayday Parade. Warped Tour's return to pop culture has been very well received, waking up the punk and emo kids faster than the My Chemical Romance G-Note. And now, they're going global with 5 stops in Washington, D.C., California, Quebec, Mexico, and Florida. Warped Tour ticket prices are starting at Tier 3, sitting at $179 for general admission and $429 for VIP passes. Other bands such as 303, Third Eye Blind will also have performances. All right, now it's time for the Pit Picks of the week. My top 5 events that have happened recently. At number 5, Baby Keem announced his sold-out casino tour for the spring and summer for European fans. This 36-stop tour is hitting all the major cities and kicks off in April in North Carolina. At our number 4, huge news for electronic fans like me, 2026 is the new 2016 because the powerhouse act Major Lazer will be closing out the Winter Olympics this year. Diplo announced that hits like Lean On will be featured in the performance. I can feel the flower crown on my head already. Sliding down to number 3, Cat's Eye member Mano has taken a hiatus as a member of the group. Mano has taken a step back to focus on her mental health and well-being. While this does leave a bit of a gnarly hole in the group, they do plan on continuing their festival run of shows, such as there's Governor Ball's performance scheduled for this summer. I'm very curious to see how the group's dynamic will end up without a strong visual for the group. And at number 2, pop star and former Disney mogul Demi Lovato cancels shows on their It's Not That Deep tour to protect their health. The Nashville, Las Vegas, Denver, Atlanta, and Charlotte shows all have been canceled. The Florida stop has been rescheduled and is now the tour's kickoff on April 13th. I hope she comes back ready and strong to perform. And our headliner of the week, it's gonna work out for me because J. Cole has returned with the announcement of the Fall Off Tour. Tickets are selling so well that Cole has added extra dates for multiple cities such as Philadelphia and Texas. This over 50-stop tour hits the Americas, Europe, Australia, and South Africa. This tour is also hyped up as his very last tour. This tour kicks off July 11th in North Carolina. And that's all we have for this time. It seems like everyone's hitting arenas this summer. Who will you be seeing? For now, I'm Genesis Clark, and thank you for riding the barricade with me.
Thank you, Genesis. Unfortunately, none of the artists I follow are touring this summer. Maybe they will in 2027. And by the way, I still don't appreciate you trying to leave me in 2025 earlier this season, but I won't look back in anger because we still need to talk about everything else going on in entertainment.
I'd like to take a moment of silence for the recent death of Eric Dane and the death of Rob Reiner back in December of 2025. Eric Dane was best known for his roles as Cal Jacobs in Euphoria, Mark Sloan in Grey's Anatomy, X-Men The Last Stand, Burlesque, and more. He passed away at 53 from ALS on February 19th. Rob Reiner was an esteemed director of iconic films such as The Princess Bride, Stand By Me, When Harry Met Sally, This Is Spinal Tap, Misery, and A Few Good Men. He and his wife were killed by their son, Nick, on December 14th.
If you couldn't tell from my shirt, I'm thrilled about the recent news that after years of waiting, we're finally getting a new Castlevania game with Castlevania Belmont's Curse. The game is said to be a sequel to Castlevania III, Dracula's Curse, and the recent Netflix animated show. In it, an unnamed successor of Trevor Belmont must protect Paris after a mysterious castle with beasts appears. The gameplay is said to feature puzzles and different possibilities of how the player uses their whip. As a longtime fan of the series, I'd be lying if I didn't say that the game's direction makes me a little nervous, but I'm keeping an open mind because it was literally just announced, and I'm yet to actually play it. The game is set to release in 2026. Another video game with curse in the name, that being Paranorma Site: The Mermaid's Curse. This visual novel with 360 investigations takes place on Kamishima Island, where Yuza Minakuchi searches for pearls with his friend Azami and sees another version of himself at the seafloor. Following this, bizarre curses seem to strike the island, as other occurrences happen revealing the legend of the mermaids of Ise. And speaking of bizarre, are you looking forward to GTA 6? Well, expecting parents in Norway certainly are. The Scandinavian retailer Complet is doing a publicity stunt where they are giving away free copies of GTA 6 for anyone who has a baby born on the day the game is released. They also have clarified that this is not a joke, so I look forward to hearing if Norway goes through a baby boom in 9 months. Still can't believe we got Parenthood before GTA 6.
The GTA 6 fandom is crazy, especially considering we're getting a new Castlevania before GTA 6. And speaking of fandoms, we took to the main campus of LaSalle University to ask the students what fandoms they're a part of. Let's see what they had to say. Hey Explorers! Welcome back to Backstage Asks. I'm Kayla McCrae.
I'm Patrick O'Hara.
Lucas Alphen somehow.
This is the first time that we're all together on Backstage Asks in the year 2026.
We all made it!
Happy Lunar New Year.
Oh, Happy Lunar New Year! Yes.
The
Lunar New Year.
moon!
Yes, the moon. Speaking of that reminds me of Despicable Me. And Despicable Me reminds me of being a fan of stuff, right? So our question for today is, what is your favorite fandom? That might be the Despicable Me fandom, who knows? But I guess we're about to find out, huh guys, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what they have to say. Hi, what's your name?
Kalia Albanese.
Hi, it's Cheyenne.
My name is Asha.
Hi, Kiana. Welcome back to Backstage Asks.
Hello, other person I still hate. My name is Alex.
Gabby.
Savage?
Yes,
Are you feeling savage?
every day.
Hi, Jaden. Welcome back to the show. Okay, question of the day. What is your favorite fandom?
You know, I'm a fandom of a lot of different fandoms, right? But a lot of them also upset me, you know? So one moment I'm like, oh yes, we all agree on this. And the next moment it's like, why are we changing up on the like, I thought we all mutually agreed we wanted this. Happens a lot in wrestling fandom. I believe Lucas will agree with me on that one. My favorite thing is wrestling, so I'm gonna go with wrestling fandom, even though the fans really do upset me a lot.
My favorite fandom has to be Five Nights at Freddy's. That's a safer option of anything, despite everything. I remember when that first came out, I was in middle school, so that has a special place in my heart. We're talking, we all thought Foxy committed the bite of 87, like early on in the fandom.
I have a favorite genre of fandom, if that makes sense. Fan bases where there's like a lot of fan art and the most egregious fan fiction you've ever seen, because they're so creative. They're so creative about everything you do, and you can always find something good, but it's like slightly unsettling the whole time. Like Deltarune. Deltarune's a good example of that. I'm like a little afraid to click on the tag, but I know when I do, I'll get good stuff.
I have two, so I'm gonna rep both of them today. We got the FNAF community.
What does FNAF stand for?
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Heck yeah.
I've been part of the community since I was in middle school, so, you know, it's been a long time. My favorite music artist community, Alex Benjamin. I love him so much. I've been repping him since middle school, so.
My favorite fandom right now currently is current My Little Pony fandom. If you like disregard the colorism, it's pretty neat over there because we're all grown up and we can all share our opinions and be normal about it. My least favorite fandom is 2010's My Little Pony fandom because it was all grown men, and when you look back at it, you start to question their views on consent and things, and it's very strange. And you really start to dig deep into the amount of gore that you watched as a child, and it really affects you.
Did you say gore?
Yeah.
This is very particular. Specifically, Twitter, I would never call it X. Specifically, Twitter wrestling.
Dangerous area you're talking, and I'm saying this with the Los Ingobernables shirt on.
But I enjoy it so much.
What do you enjoy in particular about it?
I think that people, okay, I love wrestling as a whole. I like re-watching certain clips of it, and I think people clip the right clips of what I want to see, and I go, yes.
I'd say Brent Faiyaz.
Ooh. Wait, like the R&B artist?
Yes, I love Brent. He's a great artist. He just dropped a new album and everything. It's been good, yes.
Ooh, sick. Does he have like a fandom name, like something he calls his fans?
That's a great question. I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
Those were some excellent responses for my fellow explorers. So, I gotta ask you guys now, what are your favorite fandoms? Pat, you go first.
Okay, so my favorite fandom will be the Arianators for the Ariana Grande fans, you know. But my least favorite fandoms would have to be the Swifties and the Barbs. Both are mentally deranged and unhinged. Please seek help. It's never too late to go to therapy, and it's never too late to seek yourself into an asylum, and not the Kia asylum. How about you, Lucas?
My favorite are obviously pro wrestling. I love it, especially on the international scene. But also on top of that, there's Visual K. I'd say primarily wrestling, Visual K, and very niche video game communities such as Fire Emblem, Castlevania are kind of where my interests lie. As for fandoms I hate, well, Patrick.
Anyway.
I guess it's my turn, huh?
Yes, it is.
Ever since I was in middle school, no, actually, we're gonna take it back to when I was in the single digits. I've always been an animation fan. My Little Pony, Friendship Magic, Steven Universe, The Owl House, I would say Avatar, sort of, Legend of Korra, Phineas and Ferb, Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beasts, all that good mess. I'm not a film bro. You know what? I hate that fandom. That's a fandom I hate. Film bros.
Oh my god, we're literally gonna get doxxed.
Oh man, I think they're coming after me now.
I'm scared, guys. Let's go back to the studio with us.
ASAP.
That was such a fun question. It's always a pleasure hearing from the students of LaSalle, but I think that's about all the time we have for today.
I can't believe it's the end of our show. Already, I feel like we just started this episode.
Yeah, man, but you know where to find us on social media.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh, right. We got Backstage Pass LTV. We're on TikTok.
We're on YouTube, Spotify.
X.
Yeah, right.
Like X Japan.
Like X Japan, yeah.
What if the viewers don't follow us on socials?
Well, if they don't follow us on socials, then you might get canceled by some stands.
I think the Swifties are gonna dox us.
The Swifties, the Barbs, all of them. Anyways, I'm Kayla McCrae.
I'm Lucas Alvin.
And we'll see you next time on Backstage Asks.